how the Fed gets it wrong. Hey everybody, today we're going to talk about how the Fed gets it wrong. You know, the fact of the matter is people put way too much confidence in the Federal Reserve. Let's talk about how they were wrong when determining where inflation was going and the timeline when this was happening. All right, let's dive into this story out of NPR. Check this out. Inflation's still red hot and it's forcing the Federal Reserve into a new game plan. Well, this story came out December 15th, 2021. At that point, inflation was starting to move really high. December of 2021, right about here, if you look down on this chart on Statista, you could see the black line, which was the Federal Reserve funds rate, the baseline interest rate that they set. It was at rock bottom, 0.08. But look at inflation. 7.1%. Now, let's dive back into this story and show you how wrong they were. If you notice here, Jerome Powell announced in December of 2021 that inflation was getting crazy. It was a little out of control. Right here in November, jumped 6.8% from a year ago. He said, we're going to do something. We're going to start to raise rates. But they didn't start raising rates right away. They actually said, let's start raising rates about 4 months later in the springtime. Why would they wait? It's almost like they wanted to see us get crippled with interest rates. Now let's talk about the people at the Fed and where they felt interest rates were going, as opposed to also where the inflation was going. You see here in November, interest rates jumped to 6.8%. Well, right down here later in the story, it says committee members now say they expect inflation to be 2.6% at the end of next year. Now think about that. Just a month before this, in November of 2021, they stated that inflation had just hit 6.8%. We're going to get on top of it. About 4 months later, we'll start raising rates. And don't worry, we expect inflation to go from 6.8% all the way down to 2.6%. Well, let's see how that happened. At the end of 2022, if you jump back here, this is where we were, right here, December of 2022, the inflation rate was still a red hot 6.5%, and the Federal Reserve had raised interest rates to 4.1. Even the 4.1% on the baseline rate couldn't even get inflation under control. And that's even if you believe that inflation is coming down. The truth of the matter is, the Federal Reserve doesn't like to tell you or like to add in little things, or the government like, food is part of the inflation equation. Oh, energy is part of the inflation equation. It's not. They have so many different metrics that peel out the most important things to you and I, like food and energy, and they show you, oh, don't worry, inflation's going down. Yeah, sure. Why? Because people are buying less big screen TVs and less furniture? Hello. Wake up, everyone. The fact of the matter is, even down here, and let me know down below what you think, they're saying inflation's low. No, it's not. And even with this meteoric rise in interest rates, there still has to be the baseline understanding and knowledge that the Federal Reserve gets it wrong. They got it wrong in 2005, they got it wrong in 2008, and now they're getting it wrong again. Are you ready for what's going to happen when the Fed is wrong, saying that they've got inflation under control because they lowered a couple times this year? I'm telling you what, if you're not getting ready, I don't know what you're doing, because I think the Fed is going to go for an epic collapse. And you're going to see this rate come down a little and then be up here. All right, with that being said, this is one more down for the record books. Let's see you.